If you follow this channel, you know that Debitum is the platform where I have most capital invested. And that's why I've decided to invite its CEO Eriks Rengitis to answer my questions and questions from other investors about the platform and our investments. Stay until the end, because we will also talk about Debitum Investments' future plans. Before we begin, I would like to invite you to the Telegram community, where you can share experiences and opinions with other investors, and to invite you to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss more interesting videos about investments. Now let's get to it.
Hello, Eriks. Thank you for being here with us and replying our questions. So to start, I would like you, for those who still don't know Debitum Investments, could you give us a brief introduction to the platform?
Sure. So Debitum Investments is a licensed investment platform that connects everyday investors with real businesses across Europe. So mainly we have small and medium-sized enterprises. Our focus is on asset-backed investments, so every opportunity on the platform is tied to real collateral. Investors can see exactly where their money goes, which creates a level of certain transparency and trust between us, platform, and investors. So we are regulated here in Latvia, in Riga. We operate with strong focus on compliance, investor protection, and risk management. Since we launched, we have invested more than 130 million euros. So we're very proud of that. And we're also proud of the fact that since then we've maintained zero default rate to date. So I think that's in a few words about who we are.
And in all these years, what have been the key milestones in the platform's growth?
Key milestones. So first, as I mentioned, crossing 130 million euros is a big milestone for us. And it's been a steady journey of building trust and doing things the right way. One of the key turning points was receiving our investment brokerage license in Latvia, according to MiFID standard in EU. That really set the foundation for everything what we do, bringing regulatory oversight, investor protection, basically allowing us to operate in a much more transparent and structured way. Another important milestone is we've managed to expand our network of trusted loan originators. We have introduced asset-backed securities, so that shifted us to a more secure, clear, better structured investments, which I think allows us to attract a relatively wide range of investor base. And of course, again, keeping zero default rate, I think, is a super milestone because we're all in to some level exposed to risk since we offer a return for investors. So that for us is one of key milestones, having investments so far which have delivered very good results for our investors.
So I believe those are your biggest achievements so far. What about the challenges you had faced in all these years?
Yeah, challenges. So we have had quite a few of them. So building a regulated investment platform in a relatively new segment like SME, small and medium enterprise lending, hasn't been without its challenges. One of the biggest has been dealing with the regulation, not just meeting minimum requirements, but doing all of our business and operations in a way that actually strengthens the platform and builds long-term trust with investors. So getting a license is a major milestone, but maintaining compliance day to day across everything from AML to investor communications actually takes constant effort and discipline. And another challenge has been earning trust in a space that's seen its share of bad, shall we say, actors and failed platforms. So unfortunately, industry have had quite a few of them, especially in the early days. We had to work twice as hard to prove that we're doing things differently. So I think in our DNA, we have transparent structure, real collateral, basically no shortcuts. So and of course, like any growing company, we have had to make careful decisions about how to scale without not compromising on quality. But yeah, in hindsight, I would say all of these challenges have actually made the platform sharper, shall we say, and more resilient.
So Debitum operates with the EU investment brokerage license. What does this mean in practice for investors?
Yeah, true. We have EU investment brokerage license, and again, there are several licenses. So we operate according to MiFID, which is EU regulation for platforms like we do, and so yeah, operating with an EU investment brokerage license means that Debitum is held to relatively high regulatory standards. So basically, we are on the same level with traditional financial institutions. In practice, that gives investors as much high level of protection and transparency as traditional financial institutions. For example, our operations are supervised by our regulator, which is Central Bank of Latvia. So we are required to follow strict rules on things like investor onboarding, risk disclosure, asset segregation, for sure in reporting. It also means that eligible investors are protected under EU investor compensation scheme, so up to 20,000 euros per investor. If anything happens to the platform itself, then investors are secured in this amount by Central Bank of Latvia. But beyond the legal framework, I think it sends a strong signal for sure. We are not an unregulated crowdlending site. We are licensed financial intermediary. And yeah, we take that responsibility seriously. It's about creating trust and ensuring that investors have a safe, compliant environment to grow their capital.
Let's talk a bit about the offer, what you offer us to invest. And first, let's start and tell us a bit, how do you select the business you finance through the platform?
Yeah, indeed. So we focus on small, medium enterprises. Our model is built around working with trusted loan originators who already have deep expertise in assessing and managing small and medium enterprise credit. So having said that, we take their selection process very seriously. Before onboarding any originator, we carry out thorough due diligence on their team, underwriting criteria, track records, also internal controls. So only those who meet our standards for transparency, risk management, and operational quality make it onto the platform. So once they're onboarded, we continuously monitor both the originator and the performance of the loans they issue. And for asset-backed investments, we require clear collateral and in most cases a buyback obligation. So while we're not sitting across the table from every borrower, I'm quite confident that we have strong systems in place to ensure that the business being financed is sound and risks are well managed. But philosophically, we try to target those companies which have a very clear reason that they cannot be financed by bank. Yeah? Sometimes you have a very good business, but it's not yet ready for the bank for many reasons. So for us, one of important criteria is to really understand why the company or the business yet is not, how we call it, bankable.
Okay, so right now, what types of loans can investors currently find on Debitum? Tell us a bit about average returns, loan durations, in which countries we can invest.
So on Debitum, investors can access a variety of asset-backed business loans, again, issued by our trusted loan originators across Europe. Most of loans are short-term to medium-term. So typically, they would range from 3 months to 24 months. if we talk about returns, then on average, so far we've been offering investors returns in ballpark of 11%, 12%, 13%. So we focus on real economy projects with loans issued mainly in the EU countries. For example, one good example we like is Latvian Forest Development Fund. So that's a long-term investment opportunity backed by real forest assets in Latvia. So it has so far it has attracted quite a strong interest from investors. So obviously investors look for stable and sustainable investment opportunities. So far Latvian Forest Development Fund has surpassed 14 million euros in investments on the platform. The minimum investment is just 10 euros. So I think that makes it easy for everyone to start investing and diversifying their portfolio.
And there's no any fees for investors?
No, we don't do fees. So everything investors invest in the platform and use it to grow their capital basically goes back to them. Yeah. So far we've managed to avoid the fees for the investor side. Yes, that's correct.
Good. And we were talking a bit before, you were talking about collaterals. Could you explain us a bit more what collaterals or guarantees back these loans that you offer in the platform? You already say that there is a payback obligation. How does all these guarantees and collaterals, they work?
Yeah, collateral guarantees, all of that part is part of our strategy. So all investment opportunities on Debitum are asset-backed, which means that the loans are secured by some form of collateral, for example, real estate, equipment, or other tangible assets. We require full transparency about the collateral behind each loan, and investors can see this information directly on the platform before making any decisions. Sometimes investors need to maybe spend a bit more time to go through the documents to find that information. But again, the documents, I sometimes get this criticism that our documents are quite complicated, but investors need to bear in mind that we operate according to regulation. So the documents have certain format which needs to comply with. Yeah. But in most cases, there's also a buyback obligation provided by the loan originator. So what that means is that if a loan, for example, is overdue or late, then the loan originator is legally obligated to repurchase the investment from the investor. So that basically covers both principal and interest payments. It's not a guarantee in the legal sense. Yeah, it's not bulletproof that there's no risk, but it's a strong risk mitigation mechanism that has proven effective in protecting investor returns. And again, so far this model has worked very well for us. As I've mentioned earlier, we have maintained zero default rate up to date.
Mm-hmm. How do you handle defaults and delayed repayments?
Yeah, that's a good question and a painful question, and I think unpopular question. But I think that's super important also for investors to realize that if you invest and expect a return, there's a risk. So late payments and potentially defaults, I would like to say, will happen at some point. Yeah, because that's the right mindset before you begin investing, that you're prepared and ready for that. So when it comes to delayed repayments, we follow a structured and transparent process. First, we work closely with loan originators to monitor repayment behavior. We step in early if we see any signs of trouble or something not going according to plan. If a loan becomes overdue and the buyback obligation applies, I would say we take a very hands-on approach. So two examples which when we speak publicly, we try to disclose them and be transparent. So I think most of our community knows that we have two problematic cases. One is Triple Dragon, and second one is Ukraine. So let's go through each of them. For example, Triple Dragon, that's a UK-based originator, faced financial challenges that led us to downgrade their trust score and initiate a more intensive review process. So as part of our governance improvements, we've now introduced quarterly financial monitoring, interim reporting, clear risk flags on the platform, so investors can make fully informed decisions. An example how we operate in terms of transparency, when we felt that there might be a late payment, before the late payment we already initiated a few protocols and processes with the originator. We also were upfront with investors. We actually didn't wait for the moment that investors would notice late payment. We actually sent an email. We were very proactive, saying that here's a case, here's how we handle it. So end result is that we had quite a few negotiations. We asked to subordinate certain amount of shareholder money. So for those who don't know how subordination works, is that Debitum is not the only money going into Triple Dragon. So shareholders also invest their own money. So part of that money was legally strengthened, that it stays in the company and it can't be transferred out while Debitum is a creditor. So the end result was, I think, quite okay. So now we don't have late payments for Triple Dragon, and obviously there was no default. We made sure that all the investors get the money back with late penalties. So I think, again, these things will happen in financing and investing, but the crucial thing is how you handle them. Yeah. Another major challenge was the Ukrainian war, which disrupted repayments from Chain Finance, a Ukrainian originator. In that case, we worked with them to restructure receivables, provide ongoing updates to investors. To put it mildly, it's never easy, but we handle these situations with full transparency and always with the goal of recovering as much value as possible for our investors. So that said, we're proud that none of active loans on our platform have resulted in a full default to date. So again, Ukraine is something historical. I'm not sure whether everyone from your audience knows the fact that owners changed approximately 2 years ago. So a lot of things have changed since then. But Ukraine is a historical loan originator before new shareholders and management entered on the scene, so to speak. But still, we take full responsibility, and we're in process of restructuring it and recovering investor funds. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Will that be possible at some point? Right now, it's not possible. I understand that.
There are, yeah. If we go into detail about Ukraine, there are several challenges. So first one, when the war started, then I was not in the Debitum at that point, but then leadership made a decision that it's better to restructure debt than to make pressure on the company, because when a war started, then not everything was easy to plan. Yeah, basically, a bombing starts, cars are going in different directions. Government can ask certain vehicles to be used in military, so a lot of chaos. And then the decision was made to freeze higher interest rates and just allow company to stabilize it. So for last 2 years, the company has done okay job. Yeah, they work with profit. They've managed to recover most of the receivable portfolio, but few challenges. First, there's ongoing war, which legally means that Central Bank of Ukraine, they call it moratorium. Basically, the company cannot send money from Ukraine to their creditors if the liabilities or debt arise before war. So to speak, that a war starts and all the financial institutions and creditors would just ask their money back, and the country and the companies would be in a very tough situation. So that's a very common practice. If there's a big problem in the country, first central bank forbids that money is outflowing the country. So first there's this moratorium, and second is all of operational risks to just maintain that the company is healthy, profitable, it doesn't go into chaos. So moratorium will end at some point. Unfortunately, we are dependent on regulator and legislation when they allow it. Keeping a company healthy, I think current management is doing okay work. They're regularly sending reports. They're regularly sending what are receivables, what are cars in their portfolio. But another challenge is the currency, because company operates in local Ukrainian currency, which is Ukrainian hryvnias. And they are, as in most cases when such tragic situation as war happens, the central bank is devaluing local currency. So company works with profit, but the debt is in euros. So that means that the bottom line is close to zero, yeah, which is again okay considering that the country is at war. So we are now in negotiations with an investor who would make an offer to buy investor claim rights, but it takes some time to structure it legally, to work around some limitations and restrictions which are currently in Ukraine. Also, a few things like AML processes, and that takes time. But the most important thing is that the company is operating. We regularly send reports, and investors can see that it's doing relatively okay. So we hope that we recover investor funds for sure. The question is how much we will be able to recover and when. Yeah. But I think soon an announcement will come from a platform.
Okay. And what sets Debitum apart from other P2P investment platforms? What is the difference between others? There is many in the market.
Yeah, true. What sets Debitum apart is our focus on quality over quantity. So unlike many peer-to-peer platforms that lists hundreds of unsecured consumer loans, we specialize in asset-backed small and medium enterprise investments, real businesses, real collateral, and real transparency. Every investment on the platform is backed by tangible assets and vetted through a multi-layered due diligence process involving both the loan originator and our internal credit committee. We're also one of few platforms in this space that operates with the EU investment brokerage license under MiFID, which means we're held to strict regulatory standards. And on top of that, I think our track record speaks for itself. We have over 130 million euros invested, and so far zero default rate. Again, those two problematic cases I mentioned. So Triple Dragon was late for a while, but it's sorted out. Ukraine, that's still in the process to be restructured. So
And what can we see in the future? Like any new features, products, or something planned for 2025 or even beyond that?
Yeah, we're working on a few exciting things behind the scenes. So one of them is a new investment product designed for those who want fixed returns with more flexibility, including the option to withdraw funds earlier without waiting for the full loan term to end. It's our way of adding a more liquid alternative to the platform while still staying true to our asset-backed model. Legal structuring is underway, and we're looking forward to opening it up to investors soon. So I think in our community, this will be much appreciated because liquidity has been among top things when we have communicated with investors, what would you like next feature on our platform. And at the same time, we're preparing for a rebranding and a fresh new look for Debitum. The platform has grown a lot in recent years, and we want our brand to better reflect who we are today, more mature, more confident, and more focused than ever on delivering secure, meaningful investment opportunities. So dear investors, expect not just new products, but a more modern, fresh investor-first experience across the board in 2025.
One of my questions was if there is plans to introduce secondary market or early exit option. Can you tell us more a bit about that new product or how that will happen?
Yeah. Secondary market, for sure, we plan it. I know that we have been taking our time with it for too long, but again, bear with us because according to MiFID, according to our license, secondary market requires quite a few things legally. Also required to increase share capital, which we're ready to do. But again, we've always been very we say only good things about regulator because actually the cooperation with regulator has been very good so far. But sometimes the regulation means that we're just slower. So secondary market for sure is on the way.
Can you say that there will be like an early exit option or a product that will have early exit?
No, we think we will. No, not I think, but we're actually in the process of putting a classic secondary market feature.
So, to end this interview, what would you say to someone that is considering investing in Debitum for the first time?
Yeah, I'd say start small, take a look around, see the difference for yourself. At Debitum Investments, we've built a platform that's grounded in real assets, strong risk management, and full transparency. We don't promise to the moon, but we do offer something solid, carefully selected asset-backed investments with consistent returns and no fluff. So if you're someone who values clarity, control, and the responsible approach to growing your capital, you'll feel right at home here with us at Debitum. So and with minimum investment of just 10 euros, there's no pressure, just an open door to start building a portfolio that works for you. So, and again, our track record speaks for itself. But probably the best way to understand Debitum is just to try it.
Well, thank you very much, Eriks, for replying all our questions. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
If you also want to start investing in Debitum, right now they have a welcome bonus of 1% for new investors if you register at the link I leave below in the description. Now it's your turn. Tell me in the comments below what you think about the Debitum platform, whether you're investing or not yet. Also, if you have any questions or doubts, leave them below. You know I answer all your comments. Before you go, I would like you to give it a like, thumbs up, because it makes me happy and you help the channel grow, and I invite you to join the Telegram community where you can share experiences with other investors. And before you go, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss more interesting videos about investments. See you very soon.